Is your car suddenly hesitating when you hit the gas, or have you noticed black smoke puffing out of the tailpipe while your fuel economy drops like a rock? You might even feel like the engine is just struggling to breathe. If you have plugged in an OBD-II scanner and pulled up the code P0129, stay right here because we are going to break down exactly what is going on under your hood. This code translates to barometric pressure too low, and while that sounds like a weather report, it is actually critical for how your engine manages fuel. Basically, this is a generic powertrain code, which means it applies to pretty much any vehicle made after 1996, whether you are driving a Dodge, a Hyundai, a Mazda, or a Jeep. Even though the code is the same across these brands, the exact way we fix it might shift a little depending on your specific model. Here is the deal with this code. Your car has a brain, the Powertrain Control Module, or PCM. It relies on sensors to know how much air is coming into the engine so it can spray the perfect amount of fuel. The Barometric Pressure Sensor, or BPS, tells the computer what the atmospheric pressure is outside. This is huge because air density changes with altitude. If you are driving up a mountain, the air is thinner and the car needs less fuel. If the sensor reports a low pressure reading that does not match reality, the computer gets confused. It might think you are at a high altitude when you're actually at sea level, or vice versa. This leads to that rich fuel condition I mentioned, where the engine is drowning in gas, causing that black smoke and poor performance. Sometimes this sensor is a standalone unit mounted on the firewall with a vacuum hose, and other times it is built right into the Manifold Absolute Pressure, or MAP sensor. Before you run out and buy a new sensor, you need to do some detective work. I always tell people to start with a visual inspection. Pop the hood and look at the wiring harness connected to the sensor. Is the connector face corroded? Are the wires frayed or touching something hot? A bad ground or a shorted wire is often the real culprit, not the sensor itself. Also, check for engine vacuum leaks. If your engine is worn out or has a clogged catalytic converter, it might not be creating enough vacuum, which can trick the sensor. If you have a multimeter, you can check the reference voltage and ground at the connector. If the wiring is good, then you test the sensor resistance. Only replace the sensor if it fails the specific specs for your car. It saves you money and frustration. Remember, simply swapping parts without testing is a gamble. If you are seeing other codes for misfires or the catalytic converter, fix those first, as they can trigger this code as a side effect. Take your time, trace the wires, and you will likely find the issue without spending a fortune at the shop.